Welcome everyone to the NSRL Grand National Series. We are here tonight in Fontana, California at Auto Club Speedway for the Speed Demon 200. I'm your host, Rick Souza, and I'm joined in the booth by my co-host, John DeRudris. John?
Hey, Rick. Yeah, it's going to be a fun one here in California. Always a very exciting track, a big sweeping track with long straightaways and very long sweeping corners as you're now looking on at the number 11 car, trying to put up some times. But yeah, Rick, as you said it, we're out here in California. You can see the palm trees out there. It's a nice, somewhat sunny day here in the on the West Coast. But it should be a great race tonight here in the Speed Demon NSRL Grand National Series. So, what do we got going on tonight? We got a 100-lap event for you with stage breaks at lap 30 and lap 60. So we have a 30-lap run for stage 1, a 30-lap run for stage 2, and the last stage, stage 3, is going to be a 40-lap sprint or long run to the end with 6 sets of tires for tonight's race. I think they'll be using those up, as well as only one qualifying lap here at Auto Club. So the track temperature is at a very cool temperature. It's only 65 degrees outside, but a lot of humidity here with some cloudy conditions and a little bit of a wind, which may play a factor into how these cars handle tonight at Auto Club.
Well, this is their first time, I think, on a 2-mile oval. This should be a very interesting race tonight. Qualifying and attendance is a little low tonight, so it could make for a relatively fewer event kind of race tonight, but we'll see who's out there and we'll watch them go. We've had some great races so far in this series. Let's kind of bring up where we are in the point standings with this group.
Absolutely. So leading the points without any lack of any true fight there out of anybody else. Kyle Milliken's just taking the lead. I mean, Kyle Milliken is the driver to beat in the series. He is P1. It's P2, you got Justin Diltz, followed by Ryan Chapman there in third, Alan Krall in fourth. And pay attention to those teams. You got Elevated Motorsports sweeping the top 4 spots away from everybody else. So Elevated Motorsports is the team to beat here in the Grand National Series, followed by Ty Bostic in 5th, Mark Sikosi in 6th, Luke Bullard there in 7th, Dan Withers in 8th, Michael Carpenter rounding out 9th, and Kenneth Bradstock there in the 10th position. And all of those drivers below him have less than 100 points. So it's really a tight battle, I mean, truthfully, between those Elevated Motorsports guys, because they have almost, if you combine their points, they make up the majority of the points in this entire league. So Elevated Motorsports is putting on a show here for us all. They've been doing it all season, Rick. So
yeah,
expect to see a lot of the same.
Well, and also we do have some notable absentees. So Luke Bullard is supposedly, he will not be making it tonight. And I've also heard that Michael Carpenter, who's currently sitting in 9th, is also not going to be making it tonight either. So there's an opportunity for those who may be below that 10 position to make up some time and some spots and climb up the leaderboard.
Absolutely, and it's even better because we only have 10 or 11 drivers on the track as well. So points are even more in the favor of these drivers that are out here tonight, because you can basically take away some positions. If you finish a bad race, I mean, you're only finishing in 11th. So I mean, that's not really a bad run overall. So looking at that, look for some of these drivers to pick up some points and make this point standings situation a little bit more interesting going into the next race at Twin Ring. So it'll be a fun one at that one as well. So we got qualifying going on right now. We have about 3 minutes left of qualifying. It looks like these drivers are actually struggling to put some lap times out, Rick. We've seen cars in the grass, cars in the wall, cars coming down pit road. So these cars may be a little bit out of shape. I'm not going to talk about my 3 keys to the race just yet, but it does have something to do with turn 4. That's all I got to say. So,
well, this is a 2-mile track, and again, to remind everyone that this is an open setup league. That means these guys, and for that matter, these teams are building their own setups that suits them either as an individual or as a team. and they're trying to make it work and make it better so it's easier to drive and so they can be successful. But it's not easy, and so making a small error in setup and camber, tire pressure, or ride height dramatically affects these cars. So
Yeah, yes, it does. Yes, it does. And we'll see. We'll see who is going to be the strongest driver out here tonight. As you're taking along, look at Alan Kroll there running up in now P3. And something interesting, you don't see any outside of him, any of the elevated motorsports drivers actually on the track yet.
no,
So
I think they're just coming out now. Justin Dilts is on, and Kyle Milliken is on track right now. So we'll jump
Yep.
over to Kyle Milliken. We'll see how Kyle's doing and see what he puts up again with this limited qualifying. There's an opportunity, for that matter, to to just put up a good lap. It doesn't be your best lap, but we'll see what comes out.
Absolutely. And Kyle Milliken, just to put into perspective, Rick, he was half a second faster than the entire field in practice. A half a second, not 0.005, not 0.0005, 0.5, half a second. I mean, 10 laps and he's already 5 seconds ahead of you. You can't catch you. Let's see what he does now coming to the line. I expect him to be in P1. And he's wow. That is 7/10 faster than the entire field, Rick. So, if I have a favorite tonight, I'm picking Milliken 100% because he just smoked the field.
Yeah, that's huge. Anything sub 41 in this car on this track is just a great, and that's not just slightly under. That's significantly at 40-40. That's massive. So
yeah, no, it's an awesome run by him. What a run! He's had a great season. He was the winner last week when we went out to the famed Five Flag Speedway. Saw him put on a great show there with Chapman at the end. And looks like they're going to be battling it out, which I don't even know if it's going to be much of a battle anymore. I think Chapman's and the rest of the field's going to have to wait for a mistake out of the number 10 car and see what happens. But yeah, Milliken to the top of above the board with a 40-40. What an amazing time out of that group there. But looking through the rest of the field, you got Ryan Chapman in second, Justin Dilts in third, Ty Bostic in fourth, Alan Corral in fifth, Brandon Barrier in sixth, and Elliott Swope rounding out the 7 drivers who have qualified here tonight. And we should be wrapping up qualifying very soon here, Rick, and getting them gridded up. And there it is. Yep, on cue. We are now done with qualifying. We're going to grid up this race in the Speed Demon Setups 200 at Auto Club.
all right, so we'll get our drivers to grid up. Here we go.
That Ford Mustang leading the pack tonight. Don't know if we'll see a lot of him, but here we are. Here is our qualifying order and our starting lineup for the Speed Demon Setups 200. Got only 10 drivers, or 11 drivers tonight, Rick, so we're going to make through this really quick. We got Kyle Milliken there in first, Ryan Chapman in second, Justin Dilts in third, Ty Bostic in fourth, and Alan Kroll rounding out your top 5.
Number 6 is Brandon Berry in the 58. Elliott Swope is in 7th, Bill Hull in 8th, Zachary Allen in 9th, Evan Amick in 10th, and rounding out the field, Dan Withers in 11th.
Yep, good old Dan Withers rounding out the last spot. Those last 4 drivers did not qualify. Interesting move out of them as the field is now going to be taken up here at Auto Club. So we will see how this race unfolds. But as these drivers are making their way around this 2-mile track, I'm going to give you my 3 keys for the race. So key number 1, be prepared for long runs. This track is going to produce long runs mainly due to how big it is, as well as how few drivers we have on the track for tonight's race. Only 11 cars. There's going to be a lot of green flag racing, so be prepared for the long run. Make sure your setup is good on the short and most importantly good on the long run. Number 2, who can be clutch on pit road? That is going to be my second key tonight. Make sure you're able to keep up and not lose much time and be really efficient on and off pit road, and even under green flag conditions. Make sure you're able to get on, get off effectively and efficiently to produce a high finishing spot. And then last point here for tonight's race, turn 4. Be careful, don't slide it. That's all I got to say, because turn 4 can be tricky. We saw a little bit of that in qualifying. But Rick, it looks like these drivers are making their way around this 2-mile track in turn 4. That Ford Mustang pace car is going to drop down. There he goes. Folks, we are about to get ready for tonight's race in the Speed Demon Setups 200. They are now in the Geico restart zone, and we are off. Green flag racing here in the NSRL Grand National Series. And with no regard to the rest of the field, Kyle Milliken is just taking control like he normally does. So nothing that we haven't seen, and he's going to ride around that top line.
Well, these drivers have got to figure out their line. I know a number of them had challenges through the practice sessions finding their line, and this will be their opportunity to hone that, because it is 100 laps. It's a 2-mile track, and you've got to find your line.
Yes, you do. And right now, Milliken is just clearing the field by almost a second now, Rick. He has pulled out to a 1-second lead already on the second place driver of Ty Bostic, and they are fighting behind them for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, all very close together there, Rick. And you may even see some 3-wide action there with Bill Hull going to the high side on the 58 machine. Now shuts the door, but this is the battle right here. You have the 19, the 58, the 51, the 11, and the 9 all battling for position early on in this race. And keep in mind, folks, we have 3 stages tonight. We have stage 1 ending at lap 30, stage 2 ending at lap 60, and then the last stage ending at lap 100. So 40-lap segment there. And looking right now, we got a lot of battles on the track, Rick. We got a battle there between Justin Diltz and Brandon Barrier. We have a battle behind them between Bill Hull and Alan Kroll, with Zachary Allen right there in the mix. And you can see multiple lines forming already, Rick.
Absolutely, and we're seeing that. I also had a report. We had Ryan Chapman. He apparently spun and had some damage. He's in the pits now, making some repairs. So an early incident on the field. We'll try to jump back to that in a second once we can go through these battles on the track. It really is a battle of everyone not named Kyle Milliken right now.
Pretty much, yeah. Kyle Milliken, that lead grew to 1 second on the field, but it's kind of stabilized right now over the last 2 laps, down to 1.1 second. But still, that's something I'd be very curious about. Did Kyle build a better short-run car, or did he build a better long-run car? And that's what's going to be the definitive moment of this race, is who has the best long-run car, because I don't see us having many cautions at all, Rick, unless it's a single-car spin. But look at Bill Hull go to the bottom of Brandon Barrier there for P4, and look at Bill Hull having a good run. He's going to slide up there right in front of the 58 machine, shut the door, and move him to P4, going to lap number 5 here. So what a move, but Brandon Barry's going to have that run. He's going to drop down to the bottom side, and that's the thing here. You're going to have massive runs going down the front stretch or going down the back stretch. So be aware of that. You may see a little bit of chaos ensue if somebody does not make the right move. But already you can see those guys already all the way up against the wall in turn 1, trying to get as much traction as they can out of this. And everybody's now single file. Everybody's minding their own business now, as we see, just as I said, that on cue, Alan Kroll going to the bottom of Brandon Barrier going into turn 3.
Well, this is pretty typical for this track. You know, for the longest time, the groove that everybody ran was that high side. They just ran around high and preserved tires. But this is interesting. These are stages at 30 and 60, so that means you can burn up what you got and run more aggressively for 30 laps.
And we have our caution, though.
We do. Alan Kroll.
I think he spun, Rick.
He did. We can go back and there's a number of incidents. I think it started with Brendan Barrier. We'll jump back to that first. Hang on 1 second. Let's kind of bring that back.
So let's see if this was a product of this turn 4 sliding, Rick, up the track like I was mentioning. So you have Brandon Barrier there in the 58. You have Alan Kroll in the 9. It looks like Kroll sliding up the track and with nowhere to go.
Yeah, Brandon he collected Barrier the 58.
Tags him in the left rear and just once that car gets sideways, it's very hard to control. What a move by the number 11 car, avoiding those two drivers. Same thing with the 77, but really unfortunate for those two cars. That is an elevated motorsports car right there with the number 9. So that's it's pretty hard to see early on. What an awesome video, though. Look at that. He's definitely becoming a lawnmower there. Yeah, unfortunate there for those two drivers. I mean, Brandon may not be too damaged on the front end, but I'd be a little bit worried about how that engine's going to produce now after having that big of a hit. So unfortunate for these guys, but that is our first caution on lap 6. So I would expect these guys to come down pit road.
I would expect. I believe those guys are both on pit road today. We'll double check with them and see what's going on. There's at least one of them on pit road at this point.
Yep, and let's see who does make the trip down the very long pit road. No takers as of yet.
Oh, I think Kyle Milliken maybe. Here we go.
Kyle Milliken definitely tried to fake out the field right there. So you have your leaders on pit road. The only cars that are not pitting are the 77 of Evan Amick and the 67 of Dan Withers. Both of those cars stayed out. Everybody else came in. So, interesting strategy here. You're going to save some tires and get to the back of the race and maybe save them to the end of the race, or you come down pit road, have those fresher tires and pull away from the field. That's what these drivers on pit road are thinking as you see the number 10 car stop in his pit stall. Right sides are going to go on, left sides are going to go on. He's going to be exiting pit road here very frequently in that Patron number 10.
Oh.
And Bill Hull beat him off pit road. Wow, what a pit stop by the 51. He's not playing around today, Rick. He is on a mission. You saw him passing cars left and right. And what a stop up there by the number 51 machine. So,
well,
51 is the leader.
We're getting reports from our pits that was just a right side tire change, whereas everybody else took all 4.
Yeah, I mean, that, you never know how that's going to affect your car. He may have his car set up the way like that. He may have his car set up to where he doesn't need to take left side tires.
Well, you've only got 8 or 9 laps on that first set. So I think it may have been a smart move.
Yeah, definitely gets him track position and definitely puts him in a great position to take the lead from these two drivers, the 77 of Evan Amick and the 67 of Dan Withers. We'll see what happens here as the 51 is now going to come back down pit road. And that just completely erased my statement there, Rick. So
yeah,
he's coming back down.
I don't know.
Let's just hope he turned off right side tires on this one and make sure he doesn't get right sides, because that would be terrible if he came back around and gets right sides again. And now he's down 2 sets. So now would be offset. So hopefully he's coming back down, getting those left side tires.
Yeah, unless he's got to serve a penalty. I'm not sure.
It may have been a penalty.
A drive. Okay. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either. I thought it was a little odd to come back down pit road, so he may have gotten a penalty that we are not seeing on our end. But
yeah, I just wasn't sure you could serve a drive-through penalty under caution. But
yeah, I'm not sure. Very interesting dynamic folding there, but that completely shakes up the running order with Evan Amick obviously in first with Dan Withers. We mentioned that before, but right behind them you have Ty Bostic and Kyle Milliken there in row 2. Those are going to be the drivers with the freshest tires and the most eager of intentions to get to the front of this field, as we are now double file front to back of these drivers here. So everybody is making their way. We are 8 laps into this, about to be 9 laps into this 100-lap event in the Speed Demon Setups 200.
And now the Geico restart zone does play into this. Now both of those drivers are on the same team.
Yes, they are, and pace car is down. Now, I'll explain the Geico restart zone after this restart does unfold, but that 77 has to wait to enter the restart zone to take off, and he in fact does take off. So what a launch there by Evan Amick. He definitely took advantage of that restart zone, but we're going to go 3 wide potentially. That was a very interesting move there behind Dan Withers. So we may see some action here as the field just completely fans out going into turn 1, coming out of turn 2. You see the 11 slide up the track and going to be the outside of the 10 car, trying to get some side draft going into turn 3. 10's going to have the position on him, but Devin Amix is just a little bit of a sit and duck right now because that 10 car is on a mission to get back to the front of this field. And it looks like, without further ado, your leader is going to be at the line.
Oh, that's close.
Kyle Milliken, I believe.
It is
Kyle
showing.
Milliken.
Yep, the board now shows Kyle Milliken as your leader.
Yep, and so definitely did not really work out well from a leading perspective for the number 77, but he may gain a little bit of track position out of this once the field starts to fan out a little bit. But as these drivers are making their way around this track, Rick, I want to explain the new rule and the new restart zone that has been established in iRacing. So the restart zone rule, it's called the zone or start zone rule, and the start zone is defined by the Geico artwork on the track and the apron, and the painted walls as well in the designated area. So you'll see that on the restarts. The start zone starts with a double red line or double yellow line on the wall and ends with a single red line going very close to the start-finish line there, as we see a lot of action happening on the track right now. Cars sliding up, and car a little loose there.
There is a lot of action on the track. There's a lot of positions being swapped here as we're going 2 and 3 wide through the backstretch.
Yes, we are. So I'm going to pause my description of the restart zone because we got a lot of battling going on as we speak. You see Bill Hull there sliding up the track. You have 22 there, and we have a car shut the door. We got some battling going on beside them. Look at the field just span out. Field is completely spanned out here. But very, very small lead, though, for Kyle Milliken there. Only about 0.3 of a second. So a little bit closer than what we're typically seeing from that 10 car when it comes to leading. But going back to the restart zone, Rick, you have the initial race start. The starter or the flagger will control the initial start of the race. The first place driver does not have that control. The leader must maintain pace speed until the green flag is waved. And so the flagger will definitely start the race at any time he or she chooses, so whenever it flies, and then once the leader is inside of the defined start zone, as you just saw there on the broadcast. And then after that, you have what are called race restarts, controlled by the leader. So the leader controls all race restarts after that point. The leader must maintain his pace speed, which typically is anywhere between 40 to 60 miles an hour, depending on the track, until the car is inside that defined restart zone. Once he is in that restart zone, the leader can choose any point in time up until the green flag waves to take that start, which is what we saw out of the 77 there. So this is a new rule that has been implemented here for all oval tracks. And I think it's a great rule because it definitely is adding a realistic element to the racing here on iRacing. So what great coding by them. It's awesome to see, and it definitely plays a major role into how these races span out. And so right now we're looking on board with the 10 car of Kyle Milliken, but we do have a battle for second, though, between Allen and Bostic. Bostic is trying to take control of that P2, and don't look too far back, Kyle, but you got some company there, man. You have some hungry drivers willing to take and wanting to take that P1 away from you.
Yeah, pretty tight battle here for first, second, and third, separated by less than 2 seconds. Milliken, Allen, and Bostic, you're 1, 2, and 3, but you're right. Sitting back in 4th, 5th, and 6th, Amick, Dilton, Hull are right there waiting for a mistake at the front.
So look at that. That 22 car is very fast going through 1 and 2. I expect that to be a theme. He just can't quite get the launch that he needs off the corner because that 11 is really kind of holding him up there. But right now, you have a nice battle between the 11 and the 22 folding. And you can see that 22 is playing a really smart game, trying to get that 11 out of his line to potentially get him to make a mistake, pushing him a little bit harder than he wants to run right now, as you see them diving and weaving up and down. So what they're doing, they're trying to break the draft. So the car behind them doesn't have the run. But look at 22 just dive into the corner. Wow, what a move by the 22. And he's going to be side by side with Milliken coming off of turn 2, Rick. He's going to have to run, but he has a position on the number 11 and the number 11. Yeah, he shuts the door.
Completely.
And 11 goes down. 11 goes down low. So you have a battle right now. You have Allen going to the bottom of that 22, but that 22 looks to be fast. Rick, don't look too far back there, Kyle, but 22 has passed the 11 and is on the hunt. So what a move there by Ty Bostic going to P2, having a great run so far with 17 laps complete in this 100-lap event here at Auto Club. And just look at how well that 22 carries through the corner. That is very impressive to be able to carry that much speed through this track, because that was the biggest thing, is sliding. Now, I know turn 4 is obviously the place where you slide the most, but in turn 2 you can do it too, but that 22 seems to be really smooth through the corners.
He absolutely is. In fact, with running the slightly different line between himself and Milliken, and with a little bit of push behind him from Allen, there's a good chance that he will have a good run on him this lap or the laps to come. So
let's see if he decides to make a move here on the bottom. That 10 car is going to be up high. 22 is going to drop to that second line, and there you go. 10 car slipped up just a little bit, but that
yeah, I think that's a planned line. I think that Kyle Milliken is running that high line, which will save his tires as we get closer. We've got a stage break in 11 laps, and he's letting these guys, I think, maybe they can use up their tires, and if they get past them, he'll come back, and if they don't, he'll take the stage win.
Yep, and we'll see if you see some bump drafting going on between the 11 and the 22 here to close that gap. But as you said, Rick, that 10 car is riding really nice up on the high line. Look at him just coasting into the corner, not pushing it too hard, and he's getting that run off where the 22 is better than the center of the middle, but turn 2 exit, that 10 car is just on rails.
Yeah,
so,
he made a slight correction there. He didn't stay up. The 10 car did not stay up as high coming out of turn 2. He kind of came down, dropped a little bit, maybe closed the door a bit on the 22 as he exited turn 2. But no, he's running he's running his race. The 10 is running his race and leaving these guys behind him, Ty Bostic and Zach Allen, to try and find a way around him.
Yeah, he is. And really quick, I want to say hi to Andy, always supporting us on the YouTube side of things. So she said, hey, and good luck, Elliot. So Elliot right now is running in P6. So hopefully Elliot can maybe get a win there for you, Angelin. But as of right now, we are 21 coming to 22 laps completed looking at the 22 car here at Auto Club. And it's been a fairly exciting race so far, I would say, Rick. We've had one caution. And you see Kyle Milliken really starting to take control of this race, pulling out ever so slightly every lap a little bit further on the second and third place car. So we are now 8 laps away from the end of stage 1 here, and Kyle Milliken is doing a great job on that high line, which I think is the preferred line for these drivers here tonight. And let's just kind of run through the field. You have Milliken, followed by Bostic, Allen, and you also have a Swope there. You have Swope in the top 5. But let's go through this field. We have Kyle Milliken there out of Waterford, Michigan, followed by Ty Bostic out of Rockingham for Southern E Motorsports. In third, you have Zachary Allen in that DuPont Camaro, followed by Justin Diltz out of Phillipsburg, Pennsylvania. He is an Elevated Motorsports driver. So Elevated Motorsports running 1 and 4 right now. You have Elliott Swope out of Sardinia in P5 in the IWM Chevrolet. And then in 6th, you have Evan Amick, who was the leader this last caution. Now he's settled down there in P7, or P6 rather. Looking at Alan Crowell, he was involved in that earlier incident with Brandon Barrier out of Elevated Motorsports. So it looks like he's been able to somewhat salvage his race just a little bit. Very damaged race car there. And then you have Dan Withers there out of St. Martin's, New Brunswick. He's another Southern E Motorsports driver, and he was the second car in that top line. Or he was the second car, rather, that had not pit on that last stop. And then rounding out your top 9, you have Brandon Barrier, the one who got involved in that incident with Alan Crowell out of Eden, North Carolina. And those are your 9 cars on the track.
All right, back to our leader, Kyle Milliken. There are 6 laps remaining in this stage.
Yes, there are, and this lead is pulled out to almost a second now. And we'll see right here. You can take a look at the top of your leaderboard, see how this lead changes. You can see it close down to 0.6, and off the corner, Bostic just doesn't have the same run that Milliken does. And you can see it there. It's just slowly gaining ever so slightly every single lap, about a tenth and a half a lap, because Kyle Milliken is running that high line, so he has the run. You'll see it go back down here going into turn 3 and 4. It's going to drop down just a little bit as Milliken does run the bottom side this time. But look at how much speed he's able to carry through. He just made up a full tenth of a second in a corner, Rick. That's unbelievable out of that number 10 camp. So that number 10 camp is dialed in as we are now 5 to go in stage 1. Kyle Milliken leading the way here early on in the Speed Demon Setups 200. And I do want to shout out all of the sponsors for this league. So obviously we just had Speed Demons. They are sponsoring this race. You also have Affordable SEO and Marketing, Elevated Outdoors, Butt Kicker, and the newest sponsor to the Speed Demon NSRL Grand National Series, York Realty, has just jumped on. So this is their second race with this Grand National Series. So shout out to York Realty there. As you can see their logo on the screen right now. So we are now 4 to go in this stage, and the lead has kind of dropped down just ever so slightly, Rick. Don't know if that's planned. Don't know if these drivers are conserving just a little bit, but it looks like that number 22 is starting to close the gap just a little bit more than what it was about 2 laps ago. So we'll see if this continues as that lead is now gaining very quickly again.
Well, with and what you can see is this race has kind of divided itself amongst the group of 4 at the front. Kyle Milliken, Ty Bostic, Zach Allen, and Justin Diltz. Justin Diltz is about 2.5 seconds off of the leader. And then there's another couple of drivers, Swope and Amick, in 5th and 6th running together. And then beyond that, you've got Pearl, Withers, and together. And then Barrier making his time round. So it's the race is kind of, the competitors have kind of broken up into some different groups, and we're focused obviously on these top 4 at the time as we're coming up with 2 laps to go before the end of stage 1.
Yes, we are, and this race is Kyle Milliken's right now. He's been able to take control, lead almost essentially every lap outside of the caution. He's led every green flag lap here tonight. So a shout out to Kyle Milliken, but also shout out to Bostic and Allen. You know, this is not a typical lead for Milliken. Typically, you're seeing Milliken check out by a good 5, 6, 7 seconds on the field. So this is a much closer race than what we have seen in the past. So you never know. You may see Bostic get a win. You may see Allen. You never know. You may see Swope in 5th or Amick somehow seal the deal tonight. But we are now coming down the backstretch, and that lead is basically hovering around 8 to 9 tenths of a second right now for Milliken.
Well, if all goes according to plan for Mr. Milliken, he will be the winner of the first stage. He's got just over a full second now as we come to the line ending lap 29, and the last lap before that stage caution will come out.
Yes, it is. And Rick, let me just throw out a statistic right now. Kyle Milliken has won the last 3 stages in this NSRL Grand National Series, going back to 5 Flag Speedways. He completely swept that race. And, you know, it's looking like that is going to hold, that trend is going to hold true. He's going to essentially win 4 stages in a row if all things hold true for the next lap and a half to 2 laps. So we'll see what happens there as these cars are starting to slide a little bit more, Rick. You can start to see it out of all these drivers now as we are now approaching lap 31 of 100. So there is the stage break, and Kyle Milliken is your stage 1 winner in the Speed Demon Setups 200.
Well, we'll expect to see all of these drivers on pit road to get fuel and tires. Not quite as we had it gone green, we really would have seen some additional what we felt the cars would be a bit more loose as they went around this track, but because they had that incident that happened around lap 6 or 7, that gave them a chance to come in and get fresh rubber.
Yes, it did, and you're gonna probably see every single driver come down pit road on this next lap. So you'll be on the lookout for your driver to come down pit road, especially if you're over at the front. So yeah, nice run there for all these drivers. Very exciting to see all these drivers, hanging in there. Unfortunate for Hull and Chapman and Barrier there and Krell, but a solid race out of everyone in the field tonight as we are going into stage 2 here under caution. So pace cars on the backstretch, field starting to catch up a little bit. So Rick, I would say be prepared for another long run, especially going into a little bit later on in the race, stage 3. I think the long run cars are going to show up here versus the short run cars. So I'm very curious to see how this 22 machine or how the 11 machine favors against the number 10, because the 10 is the class of the field right now. The 10 has led almost every green flag lap, if not every green flag lap, and he's won 4 stages in a row. So he is the driver to beat as everybody is going to make their way down pit road here. What happens with all these drivers? Let's see if anybody decides to take 2 tires. You never know. I hope they don't, because that would seem a little bit disastrous. But, we'll see what happens.
We'll keep an eye on what happens, and we'll check these times and just see what goes out. No one stayed out, as you would expect. This did give an opportunity for Brandon Barrier to kind of close that gap. He was potentially running in jeopardy of going a lap down, but the caution came out in a timely fashion. So we're seeing everybody at this point for sure taking right side tires. We'll see how this plays out. Left side's going on for pretty much everybody, and out they come. That was a very quick pit stop for the 11 of Zachary Allen. That was a 14.55, and that was the quickest pit stop amongst the competitors. So that will give Zachary Allen a good position in the restart for sure.
Yes, it will. And as you see it, Milliken has kept control of the lead, as you see the number 9 machine of Alan Krall making his way off of pit road, and Brandon Barrier sitting there probably getting some damage fixed. So this is the time to do it, and this is the track to do it, because it takes so long to get around this 2-mile super speedway of sorts, if you want to call it that, this 2-mile surface. So it's very early on. We're about a third of the way through, but some very exciting racing here. A little bit closer racing than what we've typically seen in this series. Typically, like I said before, you're seeing drivers check out, but this race has been closer than past races. So if you're Milliken, you can't make a mistake, because if you make a mistake, then you have Bostic, Allen, Dilt, Swope on your bumper, ready to take advantage. And Rick, on cue, pace car lights are off, and it looks like Kyle Milliken is going to take the high side. Can they choose what lane they can be in?
They may be able to choose.
I did not know that. I did not know that was a feature of this series. So Kyle Milliken taking the high side here at Auto Club, which forces the 22 to take the low line, which he's been good on the low line. So very interesting battle forming here. If Bostic can get a great restart, stay alongside that 10 car, you may see a battle all the way through 1 and 2, and then going into 3 and 4, where Bostic may have the position on Milliken. We will see. But on the track now, you are looking at your 8 drivers and riding along there with Justin Diltz in P4, technically. He is in P4 on that high side, even though the leaders are inverted for this restart.
Yeah, I think we should direct the camera crew to stay with Justin for this restart. That may give us a unique position on this restart.
Yes, it will. And like I mentioned before, earlier in the race, that number 10 car, once he enters this restart zone, will have full control of the race. So he can go whenever he crosses those double lines on the wall that you're about to see here once the pace car drops off. And they are off. They are off again. Green flag racing in stage 2. And Bostic did not get the restart that he wanted to get He is now side by side with Justin Diltz going into turn 1. And
3 wide for a moment there.
Yeah, very ever so slightly 3 wide, and we will see what this 11 car does, because that 11 car is on the bumper of the 22. 22 tries to close up the gap. He slides right in front of the 19 car, forcing the 19 on his bumper. If I'm the 19, I'm like, hey, man, I was there. Yeah, I was there. So we'll see what happens here between these 3 drivers. See if the 22 closes the door.
19.
19 is sideways, and he saves it. He's sideways. So this is probably going to bring out a caution, and he does bring out a caution.
It does bring out the caution.
That was a heck of a drive there by the 19, because you know how snippy and how snappy these cars are once you get these cars sideways. So I'd love to go back and ride on board with him and see exactly how much his hands were turning in that car, because he was having a handful, Rick.
Let's move right inside with Justin Diltz and ride along through this wild ride in the 19.
Yes, he's already sideways right there. He cranks it to the right. He overcorrects, cranks to the left, overcorrects there, tries to crank it back to the right, and at this point he is sliding sideways. And he's trying to avoid the grass, so he is hard on the brakes as well. You see those root flaps start to come up a little bit. He avoids the grass. He avoids the wall. He is doing a reverse slide on the front stretch, definitely destroying those tires. But he cranks it back around to the left to get that car straightened up just a little bit. And, yeah, he rolls up the track and makes a nice right-hand turn and gets it back going. So Justin Diltz went for a wild ride there. And, yep, he's going to come down and get 4 fresh Goodyears, because those tires are upset with him right now after that. But, you know, that's the big key that I had, the third key of this race. Turn 4. Be careful. Don't slide. And that is what you saw there on those cold tires. He was just sliding a little bit, and his car just completely lost it. So good driving by the number 19, not hitting anything, but he definitely loses his track position, even though there's not much track position to be gained here because we only have 8 drivers on the track. But still, track position is ever so important on every track.
Yeah, especially when you consider the fact that Justin Diltz was sitting in that number 4 position on track. So, but again, not too far back.
No, not too far back at all. And we'll see exactly how this is going to shape. We should be getting 1 to green this next time by, because only 1 car came down pit road. So you'll see Bostic try to get another chance at getting a solid restart. And I think we should ride along with the number 21 machine of Elliott Swope once this restart goes live again, because he will be in the top line. He will be behind that number 10 car if the number 10 takes the outside lane. So we will see. But here we go again. Kyle Milliken in first, leading around here in the Speed Demon NSRL Grand National Series.
Gotcha. All right, so we are still making our way under caution here at lap 37.
So this is going to be very interesting. This is the second time where we've had 7 laps into a run, and we're going to have actually the exact same laps that we had last run.
It's exactly the same.
Exactly the same. So you're seeing, history does repeat itself. And right now we are 2 for 2 for cautions within 8 laps of the start of a stage. So you have 22 to go coming to the line. And Kyle Milliken does take that high line as before. So that high line is preferred. So once these cars enter turn 3, Rick, let's jump on board with the iRacing Warriors Motorsports driver of Elliott Swope in that 21 machine riding there in P4. See what he sees on this restart. See what kind of restart he can get behind the leader there, because he definitely has the advantage.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll jump in the cockpit with Elliott Swope as we are on the backstretch right now and see what he sees. This is really an invaluable opportunity to see just exactly what that driver is seeing as he surveys what's happening in front of him. He's got the car of Ty Bostic to his left, and on the low line he's got Kyle Milliken above him in that high line, which is, I don't know, it depends if that's the preferred line or not.
Who knows, but we will see what happens as they are exiting turn 4 right now. Pace car is going to drop off. Got to remember, that 10 car has to wait until he is in the zone to get
22 is
restart.
holding. Is just...
And he's off. As soon as that 10 car entered the restart zone, he was off. So 10 car is away. And that's just the advantage of those restart zone, Rick. And so we are going to see the field drop down here into turn 1. Let's keep on board with this 21 car, see what he sees as he gets passed by the 11 car there. And, you can see how wide these corners are. I mean, you could really take multiple lines here on this track. And here we go down the backstretch, really long backstretch here at Auto Club. They're going to go down to the very bumpy turn.
It was a very interesting restart, John. The 22 of Ty Bostic just was not even up to speed. Oh, a little loose with the 21 of Elliott Swope there.
Yeah, the 22 and the 21 was a little loose. And yeah, as you said it, Rick, that 22 was just not even ready for the restart. And it's very hard to judge the restarts now with that restart zone rule because it's very, very specific. You've got to be very careful with how you restart. The leader cannot exceed pace speed, and the second place driver cannot even inch past the leader at any point in time before he gets a black flag. It is very, very, very nitpicky when it comes to how these races are officiated. And you got to be very careful. So Bostic there taking kind of the safe approach and just letting that 10 car take the lead.
Well, that 10 car is taking the lead to over a 1 second advantage based on that restart alone. Really, the battle now is in second, third, and fourth between Bostic, Allen, and Swope, and Evan Amick is now in fourth position and tight on their bumper.
Yes, he is, and that 21 car is sliding his way up the track. Don't know if that car is set up that way, but that 21 is sliding for sure, which you got to be careful of. You can't slide too much, because if you slide too much, you're going to destroy your tires there. So we'll see how these cars handle off the corner. And there we go. Everybody's nice on a nice straight line. What we like to see, a little car loose off of 4. I believe that was Brandon Barrier there. Or maybe Alan Kroll, can't tell, but there was a car loose. Looks like they all gathered it back up. But as we said, Rick, you have Bostic and Allen and Swope right there, all battling for P2, 3, 4, and I would even throw Evan Amick in the mix for P5. All these drivers battling there as Milliken is taking control of this race yet again.
Well, you have Brandon Barrier, just so you're aware, John, is on pit road. He's getting some of that earlier damage worked on, and he's continuing to fight through it.
Yes, he is. And Rick, that lead is increased to about a second. So we'll see exactly how long this lead lasts for these drivers. I'm expecting a very similar segment to very similar stage to stage 1 and how this one is run out between these top 5 drivers, as Milliken is just pulling a nice Kyle Larson line around the track. He's doing a great job. I mean, I'm going to even throw Tyler Reddick in there because Tyler Reddick, he loves the outside as well. So he's doing a great job. And Alan Crowell right now is the last car really on this lead lap. He's trying to battle back. And so what a sentiment from him and from that team to keep on the track. He is an elevated motorsports driver, so good to see him up there. And he may get a top 8 out of this. Who knows? Since you have Barrier out on pit road, you have Holt out of the race, and Chapman on pit road as well. So good to see that 9 car back up again. And that's what I said early in the race, Rick. You don't have a lot of cars on the track, so points are very, very beneficial for all these drivers out here tonight, especially if you have a bad race, because even if you have a bad race, you can still finish in 8th. So it's just a product of some of these races that, unfortunately some drivers aren't able to make it out, and you're able to gain some points back. And if you have a bad day, it's not as bad of a day as what it typically would be with a 20-car field. So looking back, you have Evan Amick trying to make some hayway with the 19, but it looks like the 19 is faster out of the 2.
Well, and the 19 has clawed his way back up after that spin earlier. He's back up now to 5th. So.
And you got to remember, he does have one less set of tires than the rest of this field because of that spin. So you got to keep that in mind for how stage 3 is going to play out if there is an abundance of cautions, which I don't think there will be. But if we do get a long string of cautions, those tires may be not so much of a factor, or they may be a big factor. Who knows? Who knows what goes on later on in the race? But right now we are on lap 46 of 100, 15 laps away from your stage 2 end. Kyle Milliken is checking out on the field, running some of the fastest times, but look at the leaderboard there, Rick. Elliott Swope is actually the second fastest car on the track right now. So this is kind of what I was wanting to see out of some of these cars. Who has the faster long-run car? And just off of one lap out of many tonight, Elliott Swope actually put up the second fastest time this last time by. So maybe see him start to come to life a little bit once this race progresses. But right now, Milliken is still leading the way.
He sure is, and that lead is now stretched out to 1.32 seconds over second place Ty Bostic.
And what's interesting, Rick, is I think the reason why Milliken is getting such a strong lead is because of his restart ability. The restart is playing such a major factor into what happens with these distances, and he's just trying to check away from the field. I think he just has such an advantage starting in P1 as we see a pass for second about to take place. I think the 11 is going to try to go around the 22 there. He is to his outside. So as I was speaking, battle for second forming up between the 11 and the 22. We'll see who is able to take that spot. The 11 takes the high line, 22 takes the bottom line, and that is how they're going to come off turn 2, but don't look too far back. That 11 is going to get a run on the 22. See if the 22 decides to block. 11 drops down low. Takes the preferred line away.
Yep.
Ooh, it looked like that 11 was a little tight in the middle. Oh, slide a little bit. 22 slide. Oh, keep it off of him. That 22 was doing what I said you cannot do, which is slide. So that 22 getting forced up. So we have a new P2 right now. You have Zachary Allen in that DuPont number 11 taking P2, but don't look too far back. I'm going to stop talking because that 22 is trying to battle back on the outside. He does have slightly... Nope, didn't make it. Wasn't able to get to his corner panel there to do some side drafting. But what a battle between these two cars. I mean, this is the battle for the strongest battle on the track we've had between these two drivers all race long. It's really just a battle for that second place position.
Well, the battle behind them is just as tight between Elliott Swope and Justin Dills as they battle for the fourth position on the track as well. So there's a lot going on here at the front of the field.
And if you're Zachary Allen, if you're Elliott Swope, you're like, let me just go. Let me go. I don't want to be held up. Whoa, little there out of the number 11 car. But if you're Kyle Milliken, you are loving all this. You're like, hey guys, I think you should race side by side more often because that means you get smaller and smaller in my rearview mirror. So I think if you're Milliken, this is what you want to see. You want to see these guys battling. And Rick, that is what I was just talking about last run. That 22 car in the middle the beginning and the center of the corner there is where he makes up the most time, Rick. So we'll see if that's what can get Ty Bostic into position to make a pass. As I said that on cue, what a pass! What a move by the 22 machine. Just on cue, just proving exactly what I just said.
He completely drove right under him and took over P2.
And we'll see if the 11 crosses him over this time. The 11 has not been good on the bottom. We'll see. They're going to be battling off the
slid
corner.
Up a bit.
Yep, that did give the position back to the 20. But then that increased for Milliken to 1.8 seconds essentially on the field. So right now, that 22 car seems to be really, really nice on entry and center. And if he could figure out corner exit, Rick, you may see that number 22 try to get close to that number 10 machine.
Well, we have got 8 laps to go before our next stage break at lap 60. Kyle Milliken continues to hold the lead with a nearly 2-second lead over Ty Bostic and Zachary Allen in P3.
You got Justin Diltz there in 4th, Elliott Swope in 5th, Evan Amick in 6th, Alan Kroll in 8th, and rounding out your cars that are on the track on the lead lap, you have Dan Withers there in P8. You had some unfortunate events with Barrier, Hull, and Chapman there getting involved in some incidents, but those drivers, one of them is out, Chapman's still on pit road, and Barrier is still running around the track 4 laps down. But, he's still in P9. That's the thing. With a small field, like I mentioned before, you can make up some solid points on the day. And just want to give a shout-out to anybody who is watching on YouTube or any other of our channels right now. If you would like to see more of this racing, more of this exciting NSRL Grand National Series, and other series that we are broadcasting on the IWM Broadcast Network, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel, because we are going to be producing many videos for this Grand National Series as the season goes on, because we are only a few races in, Rick, to this very long season for these Grand National guys in the NSRL League. So if you're enjoying the racing here tonight, make sure to like and subscribe.
So we are here with the Speed Demon NSRL Grand National Series. We are here at Auto Club in Fontana, California, and we've got a good race battling here with these top 5 drivers, and really everybody's working hard to stay in this game. There are only 9 racers on the track right now, 9 competitors battling for those positions, and as John said earlier, it's all about points. If you can top 10 here, even though there's only 10 competitors in the race, that's as good as a top 10 with 40 drivers. So every position is important.
That is correct. Every position is important. As we have a pass for second now, Rick, these 2 drivers are battling on the track, and you could just see how tight that 11 car gets in the middle of the corner there, and that 22 is sliding up the track, so you're going to have a nice battle between these 2 drivers going into turn 1. They've been battling all race long, so we'll see what happens between these 2 drivers as this race unfolds, but right now they are neck and neck. Going into turn 1, you see Bostic up high, Allen down low. 22 is going to have a run off the corner, or should have a run. Typically, you have a run. But they're still side by side. So, and it looks like...
They did make up some time on Milliken. They're now only 1.35 behind the leader.
Oh, 22 slid up. 22 slid for sure. And you right on cue, Rick. Yeah, that is true. Oh, wow. What a move. 22 went to the bottom, 11 went to the top. But yeah, Rick, you're correct. This lead is dwindling down very fast. This is very similar to kind of what we saw last run. I mean, that lead is shrinking. I mean, very quick. I mean, it's down to like 9/10. It was just at 1.8 a few laps to go. So very interesting here, and this is what I'm talking about, Rick. Did Milliken set his race up to be a little bit better on the short runs compared to the long runs, which is something that we have seen a little bit of him do on those very long runs, especially last week. He almost got passed by Ryan Chapman. If Ryan Chapman had a few laps to go, Rick, he would have won that race. So we'll see how this unfolds as we are now approaching just a few laps to go in stage 2 with the 22 and the 11 battling hard. And you can see right there how good that 22 is in middle of the entry there as he slides back up into the 21, and 11 drops down low.
Well, that's Brendan Barrier in the 58, a little bit out of control.
He is way out of control, Rick. He better move out of the way, or he's going to get that 10 car a very early exit in the race. But it looks like we have the lead back up now again to about 1.5 seconds. So just as the lead went away, it started back up again. So we will see what happens here as Brandon Barrier now is at the front of this field. He is going to let that 10 car go by. But Brandon, be on the lookout. You have 2 feisty drivers there, and Allen and Bostic battling for position.
Yeah, he dropped down onto the apron at that point. So he's discretion's a better part of valor. He understood what was going on behind him. Good decision on his part to stay out of the fray and not impact our drivers.
Absolutely. And as we were talking, Rick, We had a wonderful message from one of our drivers tonight who is not able to join us, but he is watching. Michael Carpenter said, "Go Swope." So we have a little bit of a fan out there. Obviously, they're on the same team, and they are a part of iRacing Warriors Motorsports, just like me and you, Rick. So good to cheer on our own drivers. But as right now, we are now going to be coming to the end of Stage 2. Kyle Milliken is still your leader with Bostic, Allen, Dilts, and Evan Amick all chasing that number 10 machine. But right now, really, it seems like Bostic and Allen are the only two drivers that are able to really do anything, and they've just been kind of, bothered by themselves right now. But as that number 10 car comes off turn 4, Kyle Milliken, 5 for 5 in the last stages. He will win Stage 2 here at Auto Club Speedway. So Kyle Milliken is now won 5 stages in a row, Rick. That just proves how fast he is throughout the entire race. It's not like he comes and goes. It's not like he has, any issues. He's out front every single race, every single stage. And what a run by that number 10 car this season. Your season points leader.
And it's not just about speed. It's about consistency as well. And he's been very consistent. Even tonight, we've seen kind of running his line. He didn't let what was happening behind him. It didn't appear that he would affect him. He had his plan, and he was hitting his points of entry and exit as he ran his line. And I think as those laps wore down in the stage, he just played that high line from what I could watch and see, and that played to his advantage. He let the two guys behind him, Bostic and Allen, battle it out. Interesting. We'll see what happens on this restart. Now, in what these cars can do, it's about 42 to 45 laps tops on a full tank of fuel. So with this last stage being approximately, by the time we go back to green flag racing, maybe 36 laps to go, fuel is not going to be an issue. It's going to be tires.
Yes, you are correct there, Rick. And unless a caution comes out, this may be the last time these drivers are going to come down pit road. So if you're Bostic, if you're Allen, try to get out in front of that 10 car. I mean, you got to do something because that 10 car is going to drive away from this field if that keeps on happening. So everyone down pit road. It's a pit party here in the Speed Demon NSRL Grand National Series. You got the Trone car, you got Wonder Bread, you got DuPont, you got a sim card there, you got Outlaws Racing, you got your IWM, all those drivers with all those teams and sponsors. So shout out to all the drivers who are on the track tonight who were able to make it. As you see, the number 11 dropped down, the number 10 dropped down, the 22 dropped down pit road. It looks like that 11 slid a little bit. And, yep, nice stop for that 10 car. Nice and even with his crew, who's just kind of minding their own business. They were chatting away. Always fun to see those crews. And maybe one day we'll see these live crews going over the wall. But as it is, close. That 22 was really close to beating the 10 car off of pit road. That is one thing that I said, Rick, almost on cue. He almost beat him off of that pit road, which would have been a interesting sight to see because that 22 car has not been out front the entire race. So that 10 car not being at the front of the pack would be an interesting sight to see because no one else has had clean air. So we don't know how any of these cars are acting around clean air.
So interesting, the top 5, Kyle Milliken, 15.02, Ty Bostic, 14.82, Zach Allen in the 11, 14.48 off of pit road, and Justin Delt, nearly identical 15.03 in that stop.
Yeah, so if these elevated motorsports drivers have anything to improve on, it's going to be pit road. They got to improve just a little bit because that's some very slow times out of those camps right there as we are getting the 1 to go signal from the flagman up there. up along the track, and we're going to be side-by-side racing here very soon, folks, so don't turn away. This is Stage 3 in the Speed Demon NSRL Grand National Series at Auto Club in the Speed Demon Setups 200.
So you're riding along with Justin Diltz. He is going to wind up in the 4th position on that outside line behind our leader, Kyle Milliken. He's kind of cruising along with 36 laps to go. So we're in the middle of the backstretch and lights are off on the pace car. We'll just stick along with Justin, and this is the best vantage point we have to see just what kind of a jump in that Geico restart zone that the 10 car has. If you remember the previous stage, that 22 did not get the start, or did not get the jump off the stage that we saw the 10 car.
No, and we're going to see exactly what happens here, like you said, Rick, on this restart. That somebody's got to challenge the 10, or the 10's just going to, just check out from the rest of the field. So right now, that 22 car is not even close to the 10 as they're about to enter the restart zone. And I'm assuming once he gets through the restart zone, he's going to be off. And he's off. And right now,
that 22,
battle is actually... Yep.
He lost 3 car lengths.
Yeah, I mean, 3 car lengths off the bat. And so Justin Diltz is now going to find his way up in P2. But don't look too far back, Justin. You have the 11 and the 22 right there chomping at the bit, trying to get some time made back up on the track. Because they're really tight racing coming off of turn 2, side-by-side racing going on. 11's going to file in behind the 19. Yes, they are. So I would be very careful if I was that 22 car. We've seen him loose on the bottom lane. We'll see what happens now as they are now.
Oh, 21.
Oh, wrecking! There we go. Oh,
22.
Wow, big wreck. On cue, Rick. That 22 car just took out half the field. I think there was some wrecking behind him, Rick. But
he's blown up.
That was a I called it out because I thought it was going to happen. That 22 is going to have to be careful on that bottom line because it's not going to stick. And unfortunate there for those drivers involved in that.
Yeah.
But Rick, let's go back on board. Let's take a look on board of the 22, see exactly what he saw going into turn 3, and see if we can maybe get a little bit of a restart here. Let's see if Brandon Barrier missed this wreck. I think he did miss it. But yeah, let's go back on board with that number 22 Ty Bostic machine because I saw him just completely just demolish the wall. I mean, he hit that wall hard. So actually, let's not ride on board. Let's see if we could just see right here because I don't know if the 11 got into him a little bit, Rick. But we'll see.
Let's take a little bit of another view.
So that 22 car, you can see him start to slide up the track there. And that back end is stepping out just a little bit. You can see him come off the throttle. Does he get tagged?
Man, that was awfully close.
I wonder if the 11 took the air off the spoiler and then the 22 just overcorrected and barely missed the 11. The 11 was sliding, but hard hit for Evan Amick.
He had no place to go.
And hard hit for Ty Bostic, driver's side. And then you have the 9 car getting involved in this as well. You have the number 67 of Dan Withers also involved. Nowhere to go for these drivers. Unfortunate racing there. Let's, Rick, let's take a look back. Maybe you'd ride on board with the number 67 machine of Dan Withers. See what happened here because he was the last one to kind of get involved in this. So I think he should have a great bird's eye view of how this wreck really played out. So as you can see up there, 3rd car in line, we'll give it to
you in real time first.
Yeah, so he thought he made the right decision, but you know who made the best decision out of this, Rick? It was the 21 car. It was Elliott Swope. Let's take a look back on board. You saw the 21 saying, "Hey, I'm going to take a little spin of myself," and by doing that, he completely missed the wreck, Rick. He completely missed it. So here we are riding on board with the number 21 of Elliott Swope, and you see him getting a little bit loose right there. But as he does that, he can see that the wreck is starting to form, and so he's like, "Excuse me, hey, okay, I'm just going to go over here. Let me stop." All right. Y'all are done? All right, let me wait, not yet. Okay, I'm just gonna wait for you all to move.
I'll just go around the apron.
Oh, okay, you're gonna come down in front of me. All right, let me. All right. So that was I'm not gonna say that was the move of the race by any means, but that was a very coincidental positioning there. But
look who's out front.
Second. speaking of Elliott Swope there, he is up in second place right now because of that nice maneuver.
Well, so also the entire rest of the field did go in on lap 66. Elliott stayed out.
Oh, got it. I mean, they just did come down pit road. He did slide them a little bit, but I actually like that move out of that 21 car. Maybe he's able to do something with this number 10 car of Kyle Milliken, because that 21 does control the race. You have to remember that. So this may be the big break that the 11 or the 19 is looking for to potentially get in front of that number 10 car. So this is going to be a new race, everybody. That 10 car is not controlling the race. That 21 car is. So pace car is going to make its way down pit road. You see the number 9 of Alan Corl there on the high side making his way back up. But that 21 car is going to have control of this race. And he is off. Green flag racing here at Auto Club. And he slides up right in line in front of that number 10, saying, I'm not going to let you try to get a run on. I'm going to block the way. So to the front, Elliott Swope. Oh, you see the 10 car block the 11 up on the high side.
Oh, a lot of battles going on behind, and we have our new leader.
We do. They're all sliding around, Rick. They are sliding around, but Elliott Swope is still in control of this race. He does have a slide. I want to say he doesn't have more laps on his tires. He has basically a slide on his tires, if you want to call it that. But he has clean air. He's sliding. Save it. Oh, 11's wrecked. Oh, he's going to come back down. Oh, does he tag the 19? We are still green. No caution on the field. And that...
How did we not... Well, we didn't. We are.
Oh, yes, it is. There it is.
Late caution.
Very late. I wonder if that was a official thrown caution there because of how I was shocked that there was no caution thrown. But just 10 laps into the segment, Rick, we've already had 2 cautions, and cautions do breed cautions here at Auto Club. So you see the 21 doing some dirt tracking around the track, and you can see the 11 just try to avoid him, but not a great decision. I mean, he didn't have to make that abrupt of a, turn into the wall, I don't think. Kind of seemed a little bit uncharacteristic. And the 19 does get tagged in the right rear, but I think they're going to get probably some grass on his tires. So we'll see. Let's see if this 11 car does go around. Nobody goes around as of yet. The 19 still acting as a lawnmower, which is always fun to see. 11 car is still down on the grass. And 21 car is going to make his way back on the track. Not going to come down pit road. So there it is. There it is, Rick. That is your caution right there. So unfortunate for that 11 team. He slaps the wall very hard. So that car is going to be damaged. So Rick, I mean, looking at this, the cleanest car on the track is that number 10. I think everyone else has gotten involved in some kind of accident in some way. So we are now 30 to go and 6 cars on the lead lap.
I would expect to see we do have the 22 is on pit road along with the 77. There's a number of drivers coming down pit
wow,
road right now.
But this is a great move, I think, for everybody that is coming down pit road right now. getting those fresh tires. I think that's a great move. Surprised that the 21 didn't come down pit road since he's now slid his tires twice. But you have Dilts, you have Kroll, you have Allen on pit road, and you also have Ty Bostic and Allen also on pit road as well. So I think it's a good move out of those 4 drivers. Come down, get fresh tires. Why not? You're not going to lose that much track position. So great move out of those drivers, I believe.
I'm pretty sure the engine has expired on the 22. So I had a great race here tonight from Mr. Ty Bostic, and it's unfortunate that he was collected in that earlier incident.
Yes, it was, but so unfortunate run for that 22 machine. But, he still will get a top 10 finish out of this, I believe. So regardless of what these drivers do, if you are still around at this point of the race, you are actually going to get a top 10. So looking to see some takers here as everybody is now exiting pit road with 29 to go in the Speed Demon Setups 200 with your Kyle Milliken out front as usual here in the Grand National Series, followed by Dan Withers. What a nice job getting up to P2, avoiding that second wreck. He was involved in that first wreck, but shout out to him for going up in P2.
So we'll take this opportunity to take a short commercial break. We'll go side by side so you don't miss anything, and we'll come back to green and shortly.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
All right, the lights are off on the pace car, and we are almost back to green flag racing. This is lap 73 of a scheduled 100. We are here because of a spin with a number of drivers, but we've got 6 competitors still alive fighting for these top positions.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are, as the field is making their way down turn 3 and turn 4. That'd be a very weird pit road if that was pit road. But yeah, these drivers are all back on the. Remember, you have Dilts with brand new tires. So we will see how that plays out here with 28 to go. If that is the case, that would be the longest run of the race. But Dan Withers is now alongside that 10 machine with Dilts on the high side, Swoop on the bottom side. We'll see what Dan Withers can do on the bottom side. And we're off. And we are green flag racing here again after 27 laps to go in the Speed Demon NSRL Grand National Speed Demon Setup 200. Wow, that's a mouthful. So here we go. We see the 19 up the high side, Dan Withers on the bottom side, and Justin Dilts does have tires, so you got to remember that. He's going to have a massive run off the corner. Nowhere to go, though, because that 67 blocks the top. And you have a battle for third, fourth, and fifth brewing up, or second, third, and fourth, rather, brewing up right now. And let's see what happens here. You have 2 cars on the high side, 1 car in the bottom lane. That 67 is sliding just a little bit. He is loose off corner exit. And this does give position to the 21 car, and it does give position to the number 19 car as well. So moving up is Swope and Dilts.
So Swope has now taken over the second place position, P2, with Justin Dilts challenging. Dan Withers in 4th, Alan Kroll in 5th, and Zach Allen is in 6th. Elliott Swope appears to have some significant rear end damage in that 21. Not sure where that came from.
Not really sure. Maybe he got tagged in the rear end, but that number 19 is not going to come down to the bottom side trying to get by this 21 here. And I think he will successfully make that pass, Rick. So go, maybe not, as they come into the line. A little bit side-by-side action. Both of those cars are damaged. But that number 19 is now making his way to P2. So number 19 out of Elevated Motorsports is now running P1 and P2. Now,
John, Justin Dilts in the 19 did get fresh rubber on lap 71, so he's got about nearly 9 laps better tires than the third place competitor of Elliott Swope.
Yes, he does. And, that just definitely is going to play a factor, I think, a little bit later on in this run. Elliott may have a slight advantage due to tire temps, but I think overall, Justin Dilts has the overall advantage on the long run. But as we keep on talking, Rick, Milliken is checking out. He is up to a 2.2 second gap on the rest of the drivers with don't slide up 21 or 19 rather. Yeah, that 21 is there. So the battle is on for second place, and you can see them. They're like playing the cat and mouse game right now. What are you going to do? What am I going to do? And let's try to keep this thing clean and green as they are now making their way off of turn 4 with Dan Withers holding nice and strong there in P4. And they're going to get a run right there. 21 gets a run on the 19. And all this is happening. Milliken's like, see you guys. I'm going to keep on checking out. He is almost a full corner ahead of the second place, third place, and fourth place of Dilts, Swope, and Withers.
Well, we'd love to stay on our leader, but that's just not where the battle is. And it's back here in second, third, and fourth. Also, it's been unfortunate. A few of the competitors that were up there challenging, specifically the 22 of Ty Bostic, is now sitting in the pits with some damage.
Yes, he is. And 19 slipped the track a little bit there, and 21 crossed him over. What a move by the 19, by the 21 machine, crossing up that 19, trying to get position. And, Rick, if I was these guys, I'd be very careful with doing this because you are going to be using a lot of tire. I would say, keep it straight. Keep it in line. 21 gets a little loose off the corner. Keep it in line because you are going to just keep on losing time to the leader of Milliken, who is now checked out to over a 3-second lead.
It would seem to me that these guys have it's a foregone conclusion unless Kyle Milliken makes a mistake that the battle is back here. It's really P2 is the win. So for these guys,
yeah, essentially it is, and these guys are still battling side by side, and as they continue to battle side by side, anywhere near the same lap times as Kyle Milliken. Kyle Milliken ran a 41.5. Those two drivers ran 42 flats and a 42.1. So a full half second behind. That lead is over 4 seconds now, Rick.
Well, that's a half second each lap that he's gaining. So.
Yep, it's if I was the 21 and the 19, I'd try to work together here instead of dive bombing each other in the corner because they are just not going to have any chance to win this race. Because wins do matter. Wins are important here in the Grand National Series. But right now, you see these drivers battling for P2 right now. And that is the battle on the track with 20 laps to go. We are 20 to go in the Speed Demon Setup 200. Brought to you by York Realty, Speed Demon Setups, Affordable SEO and Marketing, Elevated Outdoors, and Butt Kickers. Right now, the Elevated Outdoor machine of Kyle Milliken is checking out from the field with a iRacing Warriors Motorsports driver in second of Elliott Swope, another Elevated Motorsports driver who is now making his run at P2, Justin Dilts there, and a Southern E Motorsports driver of Dan Withers there in P4, followed by another Elevated Outdoors machine of Alan Crowell in the 9th position. So Elevated Motorsports 1, 3, and 5 right now, and I can't really say what position the 19's in because he keeps on going between second and third every lap. So he's either second or third, guys. Whatever you decide to pick. Flip a coin. He'll be second one lap, third the next. So these drivers are battling right now. Let's pull up the tower, see how far that number 10 machine has checked out. He has checked out to a 5.5 second lead over these guys. They are battling hard right now, and they're losing major time on the track. And didn't really help Justin Dilts at all to get those fresh tires because he can't use them. He can't get around this 21 machine. So kind of unfortunate there for that number 19 because he just can't leverage those new tires. But right now, if this race goes green, this will be the longest run of the race. It'll be a 27 lap run, which we've had basically 22-lap run, so 5 laps longer than typical. But we'll see what happens.
So you're watching the drivers of Swope, Dilts, Withers, and Kroll trying to stay relevant as our leader has pushed out to over nearly a 6-second lead over this place of 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And remarkably, Elliott Swope in the 21 has kept that position with a little bit older tires, but hopefully he can hold on to that position and close it out for the iRacing Warrior Motorsports competitor.
Maybe he will, but that 19 is hungry, and he is on tail right now. So I would watch out if I was Elliott, but Elliott slides up and takes away that line from the 19, so the 19 a little bit lower. Doesn't seem to work. 19 does get a little loose off the corner, as you see right there. So Elliott Swope doing a nice job in P2, but as of right now, they no match for that number 10 machine. With all that battling, has gotten out to over a 6.5-second lead and climbing as we speak.
So in watching Elliott run through some of his practice laps early at the start of this event, he spent a significant amount of time practicing that high line.
Yes, he did. I think he's using that to his advantage right now, because unless that 19 dives bobs and starts to slide up the track, that 21 car is going to have the run on the top unless he gets way too high on the high line, which right there it looks like he did, but he should have a slight run. We'll see. This is the hottest battle on the track between Dilts and Swope. Dilts takes the position away from Swope, so now we flip-flop again for P2 and P3. And here comes Elliott Swope again with the run coming down the backstretch. We'll see if he's able to get to his bumper maybe by turn 1. But as of right now, Justin Dilts is in second, which makes Elevated Motorsports P1, P2, and P5.
Well, with 14 laps to go in this 100-lap event, Mr. Kyle Milliken is out to a nearly 8-second advantage at this point.
Yes, he has, and unless some unfortunate circumstance happens for that number 10 machine or UCA collision, you have the number 10 potentially going back-to-back in this NSRL Grand National Series, which is very hard to do with how strong the field is from a skill level perspective. So to win back-to-back races is definitely making a statement early on in the season as the points leader as well. So you're basically proving to everybody else, hey, I'm not here to mess around. You all can flip-flop position all day long. I'm just going to run out and check out on you. So let's see if Kyle Milliken can seal the deal. Talk to him 2 weeks in a row, as we now only have 5 cars on the lead lap, as Allen makes his Allen is still on pit road, along with Bostic, Amick, and Chapman, and Barrier and Hull are out of the race. So right now you have 5 cars on the track, all separated by 11 seconds right now. But between 2nd and 5th, you have them separated by about 3.5 seconds. So this is really the fight for the race. This is the race right here, because Milliken is putting the kill shot in right now. He is saying, you know what, see you guys, I'm
Elliott tagged the wall. Elliott Swope in the 21 has tagged that safer barrier coming out of 4.
And that's going to give Dan Withers prime position to get past him. And I think Dan will probably go past him here for P3. As Dan goes to the bottom side, Elliott goes to the top side. They're going to be battling for position. Elliott has a little bit of a run, probably coming off the corner here, where Dan's all the way on the bottom. And they are now side by side. And yep, Elliott does have that run. So Elliott is going to more than likely hold it.
I'm not sure just how bad that damage was on the right side. Just a little bit, not terrible.
Yeah, just a little bit of a nick there, but it still killed his momentum for P2. So now the battle is actually between Swope, Withers, and Quarrel there for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, because your second place driver is now has almost a 4-second gap on 3rd.
So this field is definitely spread out at the front, and as you said, this is our battle. It's right here with Swope, Withers, and Kroll.
And I don't think Justin Diltz is going to be able to do anything with pressure tires. I just don't think he has any opportunity left for this race. But as you can see, Swope is struggling right now. He tagged that wall, and he has two hungry drivers looking to chomp down on that. And look at the run that the 9 had. What a race out of the number 9 machine. He has come back after being involved in a very serious incident to be running 5th and potentially get a podium finish to make Elevated Motorsports 1, 2, 3. If he can get around the 67 and get around the 21, Rick, you have another sweep by Elevated Motorsports.
It's quite possible, but Elliott is doing everything he can to hold on to that 3rd place with 10 laps to go here at Auto Club.
And as we have 9 laps to go now, Diltz is behind Milliken by 9 seconds, so nowhere close to that leader unless Milliken makes a mistake. Milliken is going to possibly drive away with a back-to-back win here at Auto Club in the Speed Demon Setups 200. But as right now, the fight is on between these 3 drivers right here for that podium finish. You know what? They have a chance to talk with us, Rick, after the race. So they're fighting for some TV time as well. So if you're a fan of any of these 3 drivers, I would stay tuned because we are going to be talking to them. As you see, Elliott will blink a little bit connection issue there. But these drivers are not just battling for some points. They're battling for some time on the TV. So we always love interviewing these guys. So we'll see who can make it out of P3 out of these 3 cars right now. But as of right now, Swope is taking a slight advantage over the 67 of Withers and over the 9 of Corral.
Well, with 8 laps to go, probably 7 in a second, as this field has completely spread out across this track. There's nearly a 10-second gap with Milliken over Diltz and another 5 seconds back behind Diltz. You've got the 21 of Elliott Swope. We are winding down this event at Fontana.
Yes, we are. We are making our way to the end of this race. And what a race it's been. You know, we've had a lot of big, which I didn't expect to see, but you saw a lot of loose cars that would then produce the big wrecks.
So before we get too far away, we'll kind of run back through who we've got in the field. And we are here getting a peek at our leader. That's Kyle Milliken in the 10. He has got a 9+ second lead over Justin Diltz.
Yes, he does. And right there in P3, you have Elliott, P2 rather. You have Justin Diltz, and you have P3 of Elliott Swope. And now he's seeing some company. So he has some friends behind him trying to get that position away. As he runs the high line, they run the bottom line. So you may see a little bit of drafting help there from the 9. But Elliott Swope there running in P3 with 6 to go, followed by Dan Withers and Alan Corral, all right there. Those are your 5 drivers on the track.
Definitely, this is the only competition we have right now, and it is close between these drivers, Swope, Withers, and Kroll. You would expect, if you've got anything left, that move is going to try to happen pretty soon.
Yeah, it's got to, especially if you're the 67 or the 9. You got to make a move on the 21 to see exactly if you can maybe get a P3 out of this, because points do matter, and a couple spots, take advantage of it. If you're Dan Withers, what a run. Running in P4, he's running up there with the best of the best.
Here's the move. Here's the attempt. He must be listening.
He must be. And don't look too far back, but that number 9 is going to give a draft. 40 or the 67 is going to be a little bit out to dry, but 21 blocks down low. Here we go, folks.
A little bit of gamesmanship there, trying to block the 67 of Dan Withers.
Yes, he is, but don't look too far back.
They are nearly 3 wide.
There comes the 9 on the high side. We'll see what the 9 does. The 21 goes to block the bottom to give the run to the 21. Smart move out of the 20, or run to the 67 rather. Smart move out of Swope there in the 21. trying to pull along. But as we go, here we go. We may be 3 wide coming off this corner, depending on what Swope does. Oh, we got tight racing between these 3 drivers with 4 laps to go. We're going to stick on this battle because this is the battle for 3rd place, essentially. So Dan Withers and Alan Kroll, they're running side by side as the 67 slides up the track just ever so slightly. So number 9 is in P4. He is on the track trying to get to the 21's bumper to make a move to make it Elevated Motorsports 1, 2, 3 here in the Speed Demon Setups 200. And just on cue, there goes the 67 back down to the bottom side, trying to take away the run. As the 21 does wrap the bottom, he's going to probably slide up the track in front of that 9, and he does with 3 laps to go. We'll see what happens, Rick.
3 laps to go here, and we begin 2 laps to go as we begin to wrap up this event. And your closest battle is, as you're watching on the screen, this is Elliott Swope in the 21, the 9 car of Kroll in the 4th position, and Dan Withers in the 67 in 5th. And it is a battle lap after lap, corner after corner.
Yes, it is. And, keep in mind, this race is going to be over before these guys hit the line. Now, that they can't battle for position at all, but Kyle Milliken is going to take the white flag here in about 20 seconds as we keep on making our way around this track. So when they're about in exiting P3,
right there,
and there it is. So final lap there for the number 10 machine of Kyle Milliken. What a run from that number 10 car, as he is going to come away, unless something catastrophic happens, come away with back-to-back wins in the Grand National Series. As you see the 21 and the 19 battling for position. Last lap for these drivers right here. We'll see if the 19 has anything left for the 21 as they go down into turn 1. 21 drops to the bottom. 19 goes to the high side. That 19 is going to have a run off the corner. 21 slides up in front of him. There's that run by the 19. We'll see if the 21 blocks. 21 does block coming out of turn 2. And 21 is completely blocking that number 19. 19 does have a run down to the bottom side. This is the race for P3, folks. We'll see what happens here between the 19 and the 21. 19.
The 9.
9. Gosh, I keep on saying the 19. There it is. Here they come to the line. They're going to be side by side, Rick. I think this is going to be the battle for P3. Who's going to make it? It's going to be the 21 of Elliott Swope beating out the number 9 of Alan Corral, with Dan Withers getting a top 5 finish.
That was a heck of a finish here for the iRacing Warriors Motorsports 21 of Elliott Swope. That was the best battle of the night.
That was, and excuse me for calling the 19, Crow there, the number 9 of the number 19, fault on that one. But the 19 did finish in P2, so shout out to Justin Diltz there. But we are now on our leader, Kyle Milliken. What a race! Led almost every single green flag lap. He won all stages. That is 6 in a row for the number 10 machine, as he is doing a well-deserved burnout here on the front stretch of Auto Club. And now he's going to go down to victory lane, I believe. I don't think he's going to waste any time. He's like, hey, I'm going to go celebrate because I've won back-to-back races. And he is at the Gatorade victory lane there here at Auto Club in front of all those fans here in attendance. So a great run by the number 10. What a run, Rick. I mean, he's a class of the field. He is week after week producing solid runs throughout the entire race. It's not just the beginning, the middle, the end. He is winning on all stages.
Well, our third place finisher, Elliott Swope, has made his way to the interview queue. Let's bring Elliott into the booth. A second as we work our way through. There we go. Congratulations, Elliott.
Hello, fellas. How you doing?
We're good. How are you?
I'm all right. That was a third place by process of elimination.
It was, but it was a heck of a there between you and the number 9. I was very impressed with how you were able to keep that position, because you and the 19 were battling throughout. P2, and then the 9 was giving you hell for the entire last portion of that run. So run us through kind of your race. You got involved a little bit. You got some early accidents with just sliding through turn 4, but run us through your race and kind of what you saw.
When the race first started, my car was loose as a goose, and after the first pit stop and then more adjustments on the second one, I got it to stop being loose, and it was in that last run, the first 10 or 12 laps or so, I was able to race with Justin for gosh, I don't know, maybe like I said, 10 or 12 laps, and then it just all of a sudden started pushing like a dump truck, and that was it. And then when the 9 caught me there with, I don't know, 5 laps to go, I was just trying to take his line away or where I thought he was the fastest, because my car was junk at that point.
So what we were amazed at, and you can take us back to that last caution, you did your darndest to stay out of that mess.
Well, the restart before that, I started on the front row, and I just wanted to test the car because I was up there in front, see if it would go through 3 and 4. 3 and 4 is where I was really loose at the beginning of the race. So I was the cause of that caution. And then, the next restart, I restarted 5th or 6th or whatever, and I was spinning down through 3 and 4, and that was actually a good thing, because my spin slowed me down so much that when they started spinning up in front of me, I didn't have any issue stopping. If I'd have not been spinning right there and been right on them, I'd have probably been in that.
Exactly. I was saying that was probably the move of the race there, Elliot. You were able to avoid the wreck by wrecking and sliding through turn 3 and 4 yourself, which, it got you in front of all those drivers. So
I knew they were going to wreck, so I decided to spin first and slow down. Yeah,
exactly. Spin first, come out ahead on the tail end of the race. So great run by you tonight. A solid 3rd place finish. So is there anybody you would like to thank or give a shout out to before we move on to Justin Diltz and P2?
Thanks for broadcasting this, and thanks to Justin and the guys that do the league. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully we get more cars, but it's a lot of fun.
Well, congratulations, Elliot, on your 3rd place finish here at the Speed Demon Setups 200 at California.
Thanks, fellas.
All right, that was Elliot Swope, our 3rd place finisher. We're about to bring in Mr. Justin Diltz. Justin was our 2nd place finisher.
Fun.
Justin.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Congratulations on your P2 finish.
Hey, I appreciate it. Hopefully, hopefully you guys had as much fun calling it, even with the low number we had. Only 11 racers or 12 racers there, but we had a good time racing it. I know that.
Oh yeah, it was fun to watch. It was fun to call, and run us through that battle with Elliot Swope there. It seemed like y'all were just swapping positions every single lap for a good 10-15 laps.
Yeah, let me tell you, man, that's what it's about right there. That was a lot of fun. I actually just spoke with Elliot a little bit in the interview queue before I come up. Yeah, he told me he was just trying to wear me out because he knew his car didn't have it. But let me tell you, I put myself in some bad positions throughout the race, and I was lucky to be up there to begin with. So I was definitely trying to give him some room. And that track, man, I mean, you got to have that high side, and when you get that run on that high side, you got to use it. And a couple times I just a little bit late getting on the throttle, getting off that high side, and he got me on the low side. And so yeah, we went back and forth, had a little bit of side-by-side racing, a lot of respect given both ways there, and a lot of fun. So yeah, that's what it's about. So hopefully you guys got a little bit more than that. I know I saw some other stuff there at the end behind me with Alan Crow and them putting on a show as well. So
and that's exactly it. So we were able to, as you and Kyle had basically checked out, we got a chance to go back and pick up that battle for P3 that was pretty intense between Elliot and Alan Crowell as well. So
yeah, well, hey, we appreciate you guys, and I want to thank everybody that's coming out here every week and supporting us and sticking it out with us, because like I said, I know the numbers are a little bit lower than what we were actually expecting for the season. So we're going to ramp up some recruitment races and whatnot, and recruitment practices, hopefully drag some more people in here and keep putting on some good shows and keep you guys putting on some good broadcasts for us, because you guys have been doing awesome.
Thank you. Well, we appreciate you, and again, congratulations on your P2 finish.
Hey, you guys have a great night. We'll see you here again. Hopefully, I'll be back up here before too long.
Sounds great.
Hopefully,
Thanks.
Hopefully.
All right, fellas. Later.
All right, that was your second place finisher, Justin Dilson. We'll bring in our first place finisher in 1 second. Kyle, yeah, go ahead, John.
I was like, Kyle, this is John and Rick up in the booth. What a run by you! Back-to-back wins.
Yeah, thanks. She was a handful. If you saw any of the onboards, but it was definitely wheeling it and holding my breath. But yeah, I had a good car tonight.
Well, it was fun to watch, and certainly one of the keys that we saw was your ability at restarts to jump out to nearly a full second lead at the restart. That was certainly in the early stages a significant advantage, as you were able to stretch that lead out. But that was certainly a key to your race from the broadcast booth.
Yeah, trying to get through the first corner on cold tires, knowing everyone else was on cold tires, it just took a lot of commitment to it staying underneath you. And I knew if I could break the draft a little bit, I could get a little bit of a buffer, because I knew some of those guys were quick, especially when they're slipstreaming. So yeah, that's the trucks and Xfinity seem to really be nailing the restarts this year.
Exactly, and that ties into what I was about to ask you is you were strong on the restarts, and you were just able to keep that lead. And I was a little worried there, because I saw a little bit of gap starting to shrink there towards the end of stage 2. But let me ask you this: did you have a car? I mean, obviously you won the race, so you had the best car out there. But did you have your car set up for the short run or the long run here at this 2-mile track at Auto Club?
We've been really focusing as a team this year on the long run stuff, and it seems to be paying off. But it was quite a handful early on till the tires started to wear and the fuel load started to burn off. But yeah, we've been working, doing a lot of testing, working on long run, focusing on the aero stuff a lot, reading a lot of telemetry, and I think just testing together as a team so we can all understand these cars a little bit better together has really helped this year.
Well, it certainly has proven to be a successful strategy with what y'all have been able to put up this race in particular, but certainly the last race as well.
Yeah, you don't always get lucky, so you can have a string of bad luck, but it seems to be working right now.
Yeah, but you are back-to-back winners here, winning at Five Flags and now at Auto Club. So kudos out to you and that entire team for a great race today. Anybody you want to give a quick shout out to before we wrap this event up tonight?
Yeah, Elevated Motorsports. Thank Justin for bringing me on. A lot of synergy in our team, and it seems to really be paying off, or good results for everyone. It's a shame that big wreck happened late in the race there, because it was a pretty good race between people.
Absolutely, yeah. You and the 22 of Ty Bostic were battling pretty consistently through those early stages.
Yeah, I hate to see that. Hopefully doesn't get too discouraged, and we'll see him back next week. Sounds
great. So there's your winner. That's Kyle Milliken here in the Speed Demon NSRL Run National Series here at California. Thanks again. Congratulations.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks, John.
Alrighty, Rick. Well, that wraps up our race here tonight at Auto Club Speedway. Another fun event. Even though we did have not many drivers, we had a lot of action on the track with Rex battles throughout the entire race. So make sure, if you haven't already, to tune in next week when we hit the twin ring in the Motegi 300. So that is going to be a 124-lap event here in the Grand National Series of the NSRL League, sponsored by Speed Demon, York Realty, affordable SEO marketing, elevated outdoors, and butt kickers. So, Rick, I'm looking forward to next week. I think next week's going to test out a lot of drivers. I believe that oval is going to be something new.
It sure will, and that's I don't think I've ever seen this car on that track, so that should be even more interesting.
Yes, it will be. So if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe to the IWM Broadcast Network so you will never miss out on one of these great NSRL leagues, as well as any other league that we are broadcasting in the future. So this is John and Rick up in the broadcast booth, and we will hope you have a good night and a good rest of your week.
Thank you all for joining us. Have a great night.